Okay. Oh, I did the wrong thing. Okay. Hi, everybody. How are you? Um, Welcome. I am Mel Robbins, and let me turn this a little bit. There we go. How you doing? I'm Mel Robbins. I'm the best-selling author of The 5-Second Rule and the host of the daytime syndicated talk show, The Mel Robbins Show. And this is a brand new show that we have launched that airs every single day at noon Eastern. And it is called Stay Connected with Mel Robbins. Why are we doing Stay Connected with Mel Robbins? Well, because we are better together. And I wanted to do this show because this is an unprecedented moment of collective anxiety. And I know that we're going to get through it. And I know that spring is coming. And I know that when we get through it, we will look back and realize that we are better as a society and better as individuals for facing this challenge. And I thought it would be incredible to have a show where we create a global community of people who are checking in with each other every single day and are reminding one another of the power of having a positive perspective, reminding everybody to be patient, reminding you of the things that you can control, like your mindset and your attitude and your daily routine, and how you're spending this time if you're self-isolating with your family. And finally, I believe that this is an enormous opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to slow down. It's an opportunity for you to build the skills of resiliency. It's an opportunity for you to build the skill of patience. It's an opportunity for you to put your time and energy into some creative projects. It's an opportunity for you to use the time that you have to connect virtually and reunite with people or spend time with people. I'm going to explain more about that opportunity today. Some really cool ideas. And so I'm here every day to act as a lifeline, as a teacher, as a coach, as a fellow human being. I'm doing this for you, and I'm doing this for me because I want to stay connected right now, because that's what's going to help me get through it. And it's also going to help me not want to throttle our 3 children who are already climbing the walls just one day into self-isolation. We've been self-isolating for 3 days, but our teenage daughters arrive home today from Boston College. And I know that the biggest challenge is going to be to get them to not be bitching and complaining and moaning about how bored they are and how angry they are that school's canceled and how angry they are that they can't see their friends. But whatever, every one of us has some sort of challenge. So here's what I want to do in order to get us all connected. I want you to write in the comments where you're watching from. And I want you to tell us, how is the coronavirus impacting you? How's it impacting your family? And how is it impacting the community that you live in? Now, me personally, my husband and I are here at home. We live outside of Boston, Massachusetts. Our 3 kids will be home as of a matter of minutes. Our daughters are about to pull in, and the 2-week self-isolation as a family, meaning we are self-quarantining. No play dates, no sleepovers, no cocktail parties, no hanging out with friends. We are going to do what I hope every person and family on the planet does, which is stay inside. Unless you need to go to the grocery store, unless you need to go to the pharmacy, stay inside. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it because I want to protect all the healthcare workers and the first responders and the people that have jobs that they need to show up to. I want to protect them. I want to protect your grandparents. I want to protect my parents. I want to protect all of you with any kind of autoimmune issue that makes you susceptible. And it is the right thing to do right now, which is why we are going to do it. Why don't you tell me where you're watching from? I know we have people tuning in from all over the world. I live in Sicily, Italy, and I'm in quarantine with my family in Poland. And what are you doing? Maddie feels alone in self-isolation, Amsterdam. Well, Maddie, that's why we're doing this broadcast, because I want you to know you may feel alone, but you're not alone. There is a global community of people. In fact, this may be one of the first times in many years that we are all united in the fight against something, that we are all facing the same fight instead of fighting each other. And so there is something very powerful if you stop and think about the fact that collectively we are all going through this. I see Kansas, Canada. I see people in Poland, Massachusetts. You're tuning in from all over the place. And here's the thing that I want you to know. If you feel alone, you're not alone. And here's what I also want to announce. And that is that this is going to pass. That's the perspective I want you to keep. Human beings, since the history of time, have survived unbelievable challenges. And us staying in our houses for 2 to 3 weeks with our families and feeling bored and isolated is hardly a challenge when you think about what our relatives, what prior generations have faced, and what they have survived. And so here's what I want you to know, that if you have the right perspective, that you realize that this is going to pass, that if everybody does their part, and their part right now, everybody is social isolation, period. And that's what we all need to do, whether you want to or not. That's the right perspective. The perspective is this is going to pass. And the perspective is I'm okay right now. The second thing I want you to keep in mind is you got to be patient. You got to be patient. Society may not be prepared for this. The healthcare system may not be prepared for this. The stock market may not be prepared for this. But right now you can prepare yourself. And I keep saying this because we are not in a nationwide lockdown in the United States, but it's coming. There's no question. Every single expert with a degree, which is who you should be listening to right now, the World Health Organization, the CDC, the folks that have been studying infectious diseases for their career, that's who you listen to right now. And what's coming is a lockdown. It's happening in the United States. There's no question in the next couple of days. And so you need to plan for that. And so what do you do? What do you do if you are somebody who doesn't have the food that you need? You don't have the support system you need. This is a moment in time to ask for help. This is a moment of time to reach out to neighbors, to reach out to family members, to reach out to friends. This is a moment of time to ask for the help that you need. And we're going to be sharing some resources later this week in our newsletter. If you're not on our newsletter, go to melrobbins.com and jump on it. I'm not selling you anything. We're doing nothing but just sending you free resources that you can use to continue to exercise, to stay healthy, to request help from your neighbors and from your friends. We're going to give you some tools where you can connect with your neighbors and create a neighborhood pod where you're all in communication with one another in case somebody has an emergency. But so planning is really important. And one of the most powerful things that I've shared so far, we shared this yesterday, and I love that we're seeing people tuning in from Indonesia and people tuning in from Ohio and people tuning in from Ireland and people tuning in from the UK and people tuning in from Africa. This is awesome. Why? Because we're going through something together and we need to stay connected, because if we stay connected, we will be better off. We'll be stronger. Okay. So one of the things I shared yesterday that I want to remind you of if you weren't watching is if you are ruminating, how many of you feel more stressed than you've ever been? How many of you feel more anxious than you've ever been? How many of you are having trouble sleeping? If those three things are happening, it is important for you to take control of your thoughts. And one of the first things that you need to do, I'm going to remind you every day, turn off the goddamn news, please. There is nothing on there but a 15-minute repeat of hysteria that is going to amp you up. You need to get the facts about what's going on where you live. You need to get the supplies that you need so you can self-isolate. And you need to ask for help if you need it. It's that simple. Once you do those things and you take care of your safety and your family's safety first, turn off the freaking news, okay? Because you are literally, if I were to hand you a pill and tell you, if you take this pill, you're going to have a panic attack. If you take this pill, you're not going to be able to sleep. If you take this pill, you're going to be freaking the fuck out all day long. You wouldn't take the pill, would you? Of course not. But you turn on the news and you look at social media and you are ingesting information that is scaring the shit out of you. Stop doing it. You want to gain the proper perspective, which is we're going to get through this. You need to turn the news off, period. And you need to start to tune your mind into things that give you a sense of control. Okay? What are those things? Well, it can be music you love. It could be scheduling FaceTime calls with your friends. It could be watching people like Mel Robbins, watching the show Stay Connected with Mel Robbins every day at noon. It could be texting your friends or Zooming with your friends. There's so many other things that you can and should be doing right now with your mind instead of whipping yourself into a frenzy. The people that are running to the stores and acting like assholes and taking hand sanitizers and shoving it into their carts and who are buying 25 cartons of milk, those idiots are watching the news 24/7. That's why they're acting like that. We all need to take a calm, quiet perspective pill. You need to remind yourself you're okay right now. And you remind yourself that you're not alone and you're not going to go through this alone. And you need to remind yourself that this will pass. We are all just doing our part right now for the sake of the healthcare system and for the sake of every single healthcare worker. The other thing I want you to start to embrace too is that when you turn off the news and you tune back into your life and you slow down, you're going to realize that this is an enormous opportunity. This is an enormous opportunity for you to do a couple things. First of all, it's an opportunity to train yourself in having a healthy mindset. It's an opportunity to train yourself in having some compassion for yourself. It's an opportunity to train yourself in slowing down and turning inward and remaining grounded in your strength and grounded in knowing that this is going to pass and you're going to be a much better person because of it, because of what you did with this time. It's also an enormous opportunity for you to get creative, for you to get altruistic, for you to find innovative ways to stay connected with people and to do amazing things for folks in your community. And if you look at this self-isolation as an opportunity, I think that you are going to literally grow in ways that you can't imagine. And I'm going to share some examples coming up. Tomorrow, I hope I'm going to have a much better way to get you to ask questions. But if you have questions right now, or if there's things that you're struggling with, put them in the comments. And please, we will start to aggregate those and we're going to pull them together. And tomorrow on March 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day, on Stay Together with Mel Robbins, which airs every single day live at noon because we're better together, I'm going to be announcing some major things that we have been working on behind the scenes to help those of you that are working in the healthcare system and you're having trouble paying your bills or trouble with childcare. If you have friends that are really struggling right now, I want you to tag them on this. I want you to forward them this broadcast. I want you to make sure that they're watching tomorrow because we have incredible things that we're launching tomorrow to help people that are struggling to pay their bills. And we are going to launch an amazing Facebook community to build a enormous community of people that are supporting each other as we stay connected through the global fight to flatten down the growth of the coronavirus. Now, here are the things. I see this, a small business owner who is really struggling. First of all, my heart goes out to all of you who have small businesses, who are in a mode where you are panicked about uncertainty right now. And here's what I want to say, because my story, the 5-second rule, comes from the worst moment of my life, where my husband and his partner's restaurants were really struggling, and we were $800,000 in debt and about to lose the house. And so I do not talk about the pressure of economic uncertainty lightly. I have lived that nightmare. And so here's what I need you to understand is that there is so much out of your control right now. But if you're in the United States, based on what you're already seeing with the number of restaurants being ordered to close statewide, you need to make decisions instead of asking yourself questions. You need to be proactive in managing the risk. And so if that means closing sooner before the state orders you to close, if that means working out a furlough arrangement sooner rather than running out of money and firing people, if that means moving from being open to having store hours. My yoga and fitness studios that I go to have all started streaming classes for free online as a way for people to stay connected and giving you the option to donate. My favorite yoga instructors have taped their classes and are selling them for not like almost nothing, $25, to be able to have a video of your favorite yoga class so that they can continue to pay your bills. And so you need to stop questioning. You need to stop ruminating, and everybody stop waiting for the government to make the decision for you. Stop waiting for your employer to make the decision for you. Right now is the time to make decisions. And when you make decisions, you take control. That's the power of a decision. And so if you are freaking the fuck out, you need to make decisions. If you are a restaurant that can afford to, this is also a moment in time where you could do something incredible. You could offer anybody, if you can afford to, two for one. So if somebody orders a meal and comes and picks it up, you are going to donate a meal to somebody who cannot afford it right now because they have been let go of their job, or they can't go to work, or they're a shift worker, whatever it is. But number one, folks, get your perspective on. You're going to be in self-isolation. You got to prepare. Your safety is the most important, and safety of your family. And this is going to pass. Number two, stop waiting for the government to make the decisions. Haven't you noticed here in the United States and around the world, businesses are making decisions before the government is? Apple has closed down nationwide. Finally, exercise studios are closing down. Grocery stores are limiting their hours. They're having to make these decisions in order to take control in a situation that's out of control. You can do the exact same thing. You know, I do want to say I was at the grocery store this morning because once our daughters walk in the front door, they're not going anywhere. We're done. We're done. That's it. We are self-isolating. We have one errand to run this afternoon, and then that's it, because there is one small business that's still open that I really want to go and support before she closes her doors. But once we do that, that's it. We're not going anywhere. We can walk in the woods, but we're not going anywhere. And here's one thing that I want to do in order to practice perspective, okay? I was at the grocery store this morning with my husband. And first of all, there was plenty of stuff. If you go early to the grocery store, they usually stock overnight. If you go to some of the big chains, they're stocking overnight. So we went early, and I was surprised, first of all, by how lovely everybody is. Everybody is so kind. It is so wonderful. And everybody is so present. It's wonderful. And there was a gentleman who was stocking the orange juice back onto the shelves. And I turned to him and I said, "How are you doing today, sir?" And he turned and he sighed and he looked at me and he said, "Well, I'm just grateful that I have a job right now." And I looked at him, and we looked at each other in the eyes, and we just kind of smiled. And I said, "Well, I'm grateful that you have a job too, because I'm sure it is much nicer to have something to do than to be isolated at home." He said, "Yes, that's for sure." And I said, "And I'm also grateful that you're here, because grocery stores and pharmacies are going to be a lifeline for all of us. And I almost started to cry because we get so busy in our day-to-day lives when things are normal. And with the coronavirus spreading around the world and it forcing everybody to slow down and to take stock of what's really important. What is really important? What is really important to you, truly? And what have you been reminded of as the coronavirus has spread around the world and how it's impacted you? And I want you to write in the comments, how is the coronavirus and the spread of it globally impacting you, your family, and your community? What are you dealing with right now? And it has made me so grateful for my health. It has made me so grateful for my family. It has made me so grateful that we have grocery stores. It has made me so grateful for video platforms like this one, and Zoom, which I love, and FaceTime, which has helped me stay connected. So incredibly connected with my family and my friends as we self-isolate. I am so grateful for the people on the front lines who are working in the healthcare system and emergency responders and folks that are showing up to their jobs at grocery stores and working cash registers and doing delivery. And I do have to say, one of the things that I got yesterday is a message from the CEO of Grubhub. And for all I know, there's controversy around this now. But what he did say is they talked about the measures they're taking to protect their drivers, but they also talked about the fact that they are setting up a massive fund to feed people in need. And that is what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the gentleman this morning who was stocking orange juice and who was showing up to work despite the fact that he's at risk being there, you guys. He's touching everything. He's around people coming in and out. He may have somebody at home with a compromised immune system, and he is showing up, and he's grateful to have the job. And so what are you grateful for right now in your life? And what are you being reminded of? Because I think that when life forces you to slow down, you are reminded of the things that you take for granted every single day. Going to church, having a community that you love, having friends at work that you love, having, I worry about this too. I worry about the kids at home that aren't going to get free lunch at school. And I know communities are working on this around the clock. I'm worried about people that are not going to be able to pay bills. It's amazing that the government's going to bail out all these huge companies, but I worry about the average person. I worry about, the folks that have small businesses. I worry about people that have a shift job and no savings. And what are they going to do? Well, we're going to announce an initiative tomorrow that's going to help people that are in that position. Because what did I say earlier? Do not rely on a government to solve your problem. I'm not some sort of catastrophizer. I believe in universal health care. I believe in government institutions, but you cannot, in a situation like this, outsource all the decisions. You got to make decisions that protect you and your family. And you got to reach out to the people in your life that you're worried about. So tell me what you're grateful for right now, so that I'm grateful to have my husband. I'm grateful to have this show. We've got an artist in Spain who's grateful for being connected. I am going to find out. There's a question if there's a way that we can donate to kids that are in need, that are not getting lunch services. Tell you what, on tomorrow's broadcast, I'm going to announce this initiative, and we're also going to see if we can announce where there are initiatives where you can find out that people are helping kids in need who are no longer going to get the school lunch program. Couple things that I want to leave with. Again, the show today, we've got a title. Thank you, community, for naming it. Stay connected with Mel Robbins every day here at noon, where I'm going to act as a lifeline. I'm going to help you stay positive. I'm going to help you fight the anxiety and the stress that you're feeling. I'm going to give you things that you can do so that if you're getting bored or you and your family are at each other's throats, because I know what it's like having a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old who do not want to be home from college right now, and a 15-year-old that's going to be going to classes online. They all are. I want to share a couple great ideas that are super awesome. Number one, virtual play dates, people. If you're watching this, it means that you have access to some kind of video communication, whether it's WhatsApp or Facebook or Zoom. Video play dates, people. Put your kids in front of a laptop or a cell phone and let them hang out with their friends in a virtual play date. Half of them do it anyway because they play video games together online. Second, we have started scheduling virtual cocktail parties. So I started my first one because Mindy Borman, my executive producer, came up with the idea. So we had a cocktail with her and her husband last night or 2 nights ago. Tonight, Mo and Matt Bonner, we are getting together with our friends who are in Vermont. We're going to get online and have a cocktail at 6 p.m. And so virtual cocktail parties. How about a virtual reunion with people that you haven't seen in a while? It's a great way for you to be able to connect with people you haven't seen. And so instead of climbing the walls and going stir crazy, get out your calendar. You know, I love a paper calendar. Here's my calendar, and start scheduling virtual meetups. For me, my life is very busy right now because I'm writing a book. New book is called 5 Decisions. Cannot wait for you to read it. It's going to come out in January. And now that I'm self-isolated, I'm actually going to get it done. Woo! Second, I will be here every day for their new show, Stay Connected with Mel Robbins, right here at noon globally. Noon Eastern is when we broadcast. How can you find it if you want to share this? This is on Facebook. It's on LinkedIn. It's on YouTube. It's on Twitter, and it is on Instagram. So if you follow us, and by the way, subscribe to updates. I don't know how to tell you to do that, but go somewhere and sign up for our YouTube channel. Go get alerts on Instagram. You can also get on our texting platform, but you can forward the link from YouTube to people. You can forward the video page from Facebook. Those are the 2 easiest platforms to share this from to your friends and family, and share it widely, and make sure you tag everybody that you know, particularly folks that are working in the healthcare system. We're going to do something really exciting tomorrow to rally around helping those folks as a community. Why? Well, because we need to stay connected. Why do we need to stay connected? Because we're stronger together. And we are going to get through this. You're going to get through this. Your family is going to get through this. And what you learn about yourself and staying positive is going to make you a stronger version of yourself when we have beaten the coronavirus together and when life goes into the next chapter. Now, I want to give you one tip that will help you if your anxiety is spiraling out of control. Okay. So I wrote the book, The 5-Second Rule. It's right here. Right here, the 5-second rule. I'm not trying to sell this to you. I'm just explaining that this is actually in a book. And you don't need to buy this, but there are tons of free resources on our YouTube channel that explain the 5-second rule for free. But let me explain how I want you to use it for the coronavirus. I want you to, and I'm going to explain this in detail tomorrow. We're going to talk about anchor thoughts. I want you to think about, what is the thing you're super excited to do when you come out of self-isolation and when the coronavirus is beaten by the human beings on the globe, okay? What's one thing you're excited to do? I want you to write it in the comments. I'm going to tell you what I am so excited to do. We canceled our trip to Florida, like so many of you canceled trips to go see family or to go on spring break. And it sounds kind of stupid now because it's more important that people are protected and this virus is beaten than I go on some stupid ass vacation. But I was really bummed because I've been working nonstop since August 1st on the Mel Robbins talk show. And I really needed the break. And I was really looking forward to a couple weeks in Florida with my parents who live in Michigan. And so I have decided that when this fucker's over, I am going to go on vacation with Chris and the kids, and we're going to go somewhere warm. And I'm thinking about my favorite place in the world is Eleuthera. It's a little island in the Bahamas. I'm thinking about Eleuthera, but I'm definitely going to go somewhere super warm with gorgeous turquoise water. And so when I start to feel anxious, and the only time I feel anxious, honestly, is when I look at the fucking news, which I'm not doing anymore. But I am going to think about the sand between my toes and the gorgeous turquoise water and see how pale I am right now and how nice and tan and healthy I'm going to look again as I'm sitting in the sun and soaking up those vitamins. That's my anchor thought, okay? And so every time I start to feel cooped up and bored, and every time I start to feel my anxiety kick in, or I start to think, oh my God, is this like a zombie apocalypse? Oh my God, am I ever going to see my workmates again? Oh my God, is everybody on the planet going to die? Oh my, like when I start like going psycho, which I'm sure you have too, where you let your mind go, ooh, just go use the 5-second rule. Count backwards to interrupt that garbage ass shit in your mind. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Interrupt it. And then close your eyes and think about what you're so excited to do when the virus has flattened out and we, as a collective humanity across the globe, have beaten this outbreak. I am so excited. Say to yourself, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to go away somewhere amazingly warm and swim in the ocean and soak up the sun. That's what I'm excited to do. And what I want you to do, I just saw something on this from a single mom saying she feels so depleted. Number one, you got to ask for help. If you're not already quarantined, you got to ask for help. The second thing is the most important thing you could do, virtual play dates to keep your kids occupied, and get out the calendar and schedule your days so that your days have a routine. This is a huge mental health tip, guys. You have a routine when you're not self-isolated. It is essential for you to have a routine when you are isolated. You still wake up when the alarm rings. You still eat a healthy breakfast. You still have a morning routine. You still exercise every day. Just do it in your home gym. And there are so many world-class fitness trainers right now who are giving free classes on Facebook and streaming them for free. Do it, do it, do it. I see Margaret. Margaret, I'll see you in Turks, baby. Turks is one of my favorite places too. So I think that's it. You can also, if you're in the United States, the Mel Robbins show is airing all the way through September. So if you are watching TV, flip off the news and flip on the Mel Robbins show. And make sure that you're here every day at noon, okay? Every day at noon. I am here to keep you positive. I'm here to help remind you that this is going to pass. I am here to remind you that guess what's going to happen? This is an enormous opportunity for you to invest in yourself and to invest in some creative time and for you to get something organized, for you to get that blog started, for you to write a book, for you to learn guitar, all those things you've been putting off forever. This is the moment in time that God and the universe has given you, whether you like it or not, because you needed a reminder. Apparently the globe did, that we all need to slow down. We all need to be reminded of what's actually important instead of bickering with each other about everything. And you need to be reminded to be a more positive, kind, compassionate person. That's what this is going to do for you. And I'm going to be here every day to hit you over the head and remind you of that. So I think that's it, everybody. Please share this broadcast with all your friends because we want to build a massive global community of people that come together every day to support one another and share great ideas. And if you've heard of a great idea, let us know in the comments, because I'm sort of freestyling right now because I don't have any producing help other than Mandy, who's in her apartment in New York, and she's amazing. But we are going to start to get way more organized, bringing on awesome experts like me to give their tips. We're going to be answering your questions every day. If you're struggling with creative problem solving on some of the issues that you're facing, we're going to be giving you amazing ideas that other people have thought up, like virtual play dates, virtual cocktail parties, virtual reunions, virtual dance parties. And we're going to remind you that you got this. You really got this. You have a 2 to 3 week retreat right now. A lot of people pay a lot of money to be stuck somewhere and be forced to reflect on what matters in their lives. You're getting this for free. And I realize that you may be terrified about your business. I realize you may be terrified about your financial situation, but I'm going to tell you something. As a woman who literally almost lost it all, you will come out of this stronger. You will be creative. You will be innovative. You will figure out whatever it is that you're facing. And so that I know. Just make sure that you're here every day so that I can support you and you can stay connected with Mel Robbins. I'll see you tomorrow at noon. And in case nobody else tells you today, I love you. I believe in you. And I believe that this is an enormous opportunity, whether you see it or not. And I'm going to be here every day to remind you of that. And it's an opportunity for you to practice not succumbing to fear, to practice not being negative, to practice being grateful, to practice being confident, to practice being patient, and to practice being a more creative thinker. It's a time to be selfish, frankly. It's a time to take this time and pour it into something that you've always been wanting to do, but have never had the time to do it. This is it, folks. Let's use the time and let's support each other in doing it. All right. I love you. I will see you tomorrow, and let us know how we can make Stay Connected with Mel Robbins even better for you. Bye. End this and bye wherever you're watching. I'll see you tomorrow.